joint one we had.
All right, we're good to go.
All right, well, good afternoon. It is our Human Services Commission. It's Wednesday, July 16th at 6:34. We will proceed. First thing called to order. We do have most commissioners, Commissioner Manny, Commissioner Mallon, Huma. We're still waiting for Commissioner Huma.
Correct.
JD is present. Commissioner Ray, Commissioner Trish. I think we're going to be excusing Commissioner Maury Edwards, what I understand.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And then we're going to be waiting for the new commissioner, Bo, it's either today or maybe.
Yeah, he had some medical stuff that he's dealing with, so he said he will try to join us virtually, but he may not. So he may join us.
We will note that. All right. Public comment? Any public comment?
Nobody is in attendance for public comments online or in person, and I did not receive any.
Thank you, Hannah. And then we have next item, approval of minutes from June 18th, 2025. Any additions or corrections to the approval minutes that were sent out?
I move that we approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay, noted. All right, we will move forward to number 4, agenda items, Pride Across the Bridge, Human Services Nonprofit Organization. Unfortunately, they cannot make it today. So we were gonna have to reschedule. It sounds like there was some illness and we wanna make sure we respect that, and we will be coordinating a rescheduling appointment with Pride Across the Bridge.
Axon Burton, the executive director, they send their apologies. Where they were hit very suddenly. They were planning to come even this morning, and then this afternoon they were hit pretty bad. So unfortunately, they said they're very excited to meet the commission and share more about their organization. And so we'll reschedule here in the fall. So we'll prioritize getting them on the calendar. So apologies for that last minute change, and thank you all for your flexibility with that.
Is it Axton Burton?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from the group? Comments?
I will note Pride Across the Bridge, they are a new organization in our region, actually, and they're a new funded human services organization. We partnered with them last year. Ray Manahan was a part of a great panel, and Pride Across the Bridge was a big part of that at the garage 2 years ago, huh?
Was it 2 years?
Was it 2 years ago? Yes, I think so, maybe last year.
Last year.
It's blurring in. So, so very excited to have them learn more about their organizations and services they provide. But we will have to postpone that. So thank you.
All right, and our next group, we had Repayment Human Services Nonprofit, presented by Jennifer Kirk, Executive Director. I know from talking to the group, they're going to be showing up online.
Yes, so Jennifer, she's going to be joining us online for online presentation. She has a PowerPoint for us. I did tell her of the last minute change if she wanted to. She wasn't supposed to be in until like after 7 o'clock. So I did ask her to join us at 6:45. So hopefully she'll join us at 6:45. So we will come back to this agenda item when she joins us, and we can just move forward and tell
Come
her.
back to it.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, comments around that in the group? All right.
Thank you again for your flexibility.
Yeah.
Clearly got your time.
Yes. Yes. And then the next thing we have is election of chair and vice chair. This is a very important roles. So we do need to have a conversation as a group in terms of electing chair and vice chair, and want to make sure we have some discussion around that before we go into nomination.
So are you interested in continuing on in your role, or do we have term limits, or?
We currently don't have term limit. So it's either we certainly can ask Manny and Jaime to ask it to continue if they're interested. We like to give folks an opportunity to try it out. I think giving folks longer than a year sometimes helpful. But totally open to, I haven't talked to anybody prior to this meeting to see if there was interest anywhere else. So definitely want to have an open conversation. I mean, Manny, maybe you want to start off by saying if you are interested in continuing in your role, or if you're ready to pass the torch, or please be honest. And with that, I'm actually going to push pause on this conversation.
More conversation.
More conversations to come. Thank you again for your flexibility. And I'm going to welcome Jennifer Kerr. Hi, Jen. So good to see you.
Hey guys,
Here and see us all.
thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
That
Mhm.
beautiful background, by the way. I appreciate
Thanks.
our vibes. Well, Jennifer, I want to welcome you to our Human Services Commission here. Thanks for joining us online. You came in right, actually, we are ready for you to start your presentation if you are ready to go. So I think you have access to share your screen if you're ready for that. If you need to, please take your time.
It says only meeting organizers and presenters can share, but it's not giving me access.
Great. Let me see if I can fix that.
Yeah. Do you guys have, you have AC in that space, I hope? Okay,
It's
good,
very pleasant.
good.
All right, just give it a second. I think I was able to give you presentation access.
Okay.
While she's pulling that up, who here has heard of Reclaim? Anybody familiar? Okay, that's okay.
Yay.
There's a few newbies here.
Hi, guys. Are you able to see this?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I've met any of you guys in this space other than Hannah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
You guys want to go around and just say your name, Commissioner?
I can start first. My name is Jaime Fajardo. I'm the chair to our Human Services Commission. I would say I've been in the commission for coming up on 3-4 years and lived in Issaquah since 2007. So
Okay.
it's sometime. I'll go with left, vice chair.
Yeah, I'm Manny Brown. I am vice chair. And I've been here 6 years now.
Long time.
Yeah.
6 years? Wow.
And I live in the Issaquah area. And
For 80 years.
for,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, for 30 years.
Wow. Hi Jennifer, my name is Didi Ramirez. I'm one of the newer members. I've been in the Human Services Commission for about 3 months now. It's my 3rd meeting. I've lived in Issaquah for nowhere near as long as Manny. I've been here for about 2.5 years. But I've really enjoyed living here. So I'm very excited to hear what you have to present today and learn about Reclaim.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Madeline Fish. I've been a member of this commission for a couple years now and a long time Issaquah resident, and I'm excited to learn more about Reclaim.
Awesome.
Hi, Jennifer Ray Manahan. I too am a newbie with this wonderful group, and have lived in Issaquah for a little over 5 years. And prior to this, I was on the equity board for 4 years. So it's great to stay close to the community.
My name's Trish Bloor. I've been in the Issaquah area, well, Issaquah School District for 38 years.
Wow.
I beat you. And then, I think I've been on the commission just a year after you, something like that. Yeah, like I joined during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I came on, so about 5 years.
Yeah. And very involved in the community. I started working with your prior Snoqualmie Valley Shelter Services, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Is that the name?
Yep. Same agency. We just rebranded.
Right, you rebranded. Because I volunteer with Issaquah Community Services and we used to, for
Yep.
hotel vouchers, we used to send people there to your organization.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, we've worked with Amir and the team for some time now.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear about, what the rebranding has done. Yeah.
Yeah. We've
All right,
shifted.
okay. Take it
And
away.
I know Hannah. Okay, let me move through here. So just a little bit about who we are. We are a community resource providing pathways to stability, opportunity, and connection. So that's our basic mission. Our vision is to really create this thriving and inclusive community where everyone has access to safe and stable housing. We talk a lot about kind of affordable housing, but even affordable housing isn't really attainable for a lot of our folks that are living in deeper poverty. So just making sure that we have spaces where everybody, I will say that is definitely a place where Issaquah shines. You guys have so many housing opportunities, and we actually house quite a few of our folks in Issaquah. So thank you for that. We have very little low income housing in Snoqualmie Valley. So we appreciate that. And then we're very safe, affirming place for anybody in the Two-Spirit LGBTQ community, any person of color. We do not tolerate hate speech. We will exit somebody if they do that. It very rarely ever happens. But we're definitely that safe space for people. And a large percentage of our staff members have lived experience, and many of them, including myself, are in recovery. And I think that just brings kind of this special little team together to do this work. A brief history on us. So I won't run through all of the wording on this, but you can see that map that kind of outlines kind of, we started in 2012 as just a winter only overnight shelter. We ran from usually like November through March or April, depending on funding. At the time, Congregations for the Homeless came in and helped us kind of run things. They're now Porchlight in Bellevue, and they were our fiscal sponsor for the first 5 years of our agency. In 2017, we became our own independent nonprofit, and we opened a resource center in addition to that winter-only shelter. So we had a daytime all year-round resource center and the shelter in the winter. In 2020, when COVID hit, we expanded our services. A bunch of money came our way, and we expanded to 24/7 year-round shelter services. In 2022 is when our rebrand happened. We changed from Snoqualmie Valley Shelter Services over to Reclaim. The big driving force for our rebrand was really the clientele that we saw coming to us during COVID. We had a lot of baby boomers, a lot of parents, or a lot of people my parents' age that were becoming unhoused for the very first time in their lives. And we felt like an agency with the word shelter in it was a real barrier for that generation that had just this, they have such a beautiful sense of pride, but it also keeps them from asking for help when they need it. So we rebranded to Reclaim. It also allowed us to just kind of grow however we felt that we needed to grow. Having provided emergency shelter for years, we really wanted to transition into some prevention and kind of open up our service model. And last year, January of 2024, we bought a building. So we actually own our building now. And we have opened up the Upper Valley's first community service center, and we have called that the Front Door. And that name came from, just historically marginalized populations, people living in poverty, people of color have been expected to kind of access services from the back door or take leftovers in a back alley in this country. And we just really wanted this welcoming space where everybody felt comfortable coming through our front door. That's the name. Sorry about that. And introduce you to the front door. So it looks a little different now. We have a really cool desk system now that is not in this picture. You'll have to come out and visit. But we are located in downtown Snoqualmie. And so we have a really good kind of that visual to the community now, and people are able to to find us easier. We are open regular hours, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. And this space offers free clothing, emergency food, laundry vouchers, so that people can keep their housing costs down, transportation assistance. We have bus passes, things like that, hygiene and harm reduction products, computers and Wi-Fi, housing case management, and assistance signing up for public benefits. We have our Threads of Kindness clothing boutique, which is just to the left of that picture that I showed you when you come into our building. That is provided completely from the community. Very rarely do we ever have to actually buy anything to add to this space. And it offers free clothing and small household items for anybody, housed or unhoused, that's in need of those services. We're also building out kind of a teen section right now. I have a volunteer working on that so that our teens, it's hard enough. We all still remember what it was to be a teenager. It's really hard to do that when you're living in poverty. We have two different types of sheltering. Our year-round program is called Shelter to Home, and that is a 90-day motel-based shelter program. So people come in, and we have the ability to extend their time out if they're actively working with us, case management, to try to find housing. If they kind of come in that space and they're not really ready yet to kind of take advantage of the supportive services, we will refer them out to another agency after 90 days, and then they can reapply for our services after 6 months. So this helps us to make sure that those systems that tend to get bogged down are less bogged down, and we can continue to move people through. And I will say something that's not on here. We have an amazing housing navigator that her rate of housing on any given month is between 70 and 80% of our clients are exiting our program and entering the housing directly from our program. She's phenomenal. The Shelter to Home program serves single adults, couples, and families. And on any given night, we're sheltering between 35 to 50 people. Nearly all of our motels, we motel in North Bend because the cost is far less expensive. There are definitely times that we will use Issaquah hotels, especially if we have somebody that's fleeing domestic violence. We won't place them in the Motel 6 because that seems like a pretty easy place to find people. But we will find a hotel where it kind of has a lobby and different security measures for people. And then we have our severe weather shelter, which is located in our building in downtown Snoqualmie. It's the only shelter we do inside of our building. And that is open only during times of extreme cold, heat, or smoke events. Like right now, we're doing a cooling center during the day there. And we have space for up to 15 beds when we're doing overnight shelter there. And then one of our newest programs, we just got approval for the name. It's called Resilience Rising, and it's a gender-based violence program. So this is a partnership with the Snoqualmie Indian Tribe. It serves anyone fleeing domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, human trafficking, including sex trafficking. The priority is given to Indigenous and Native females, but we will serve anybody, male or female, that is fleeing any sort of domestic dating violence or trafficking. This is currently a motel-based program, but we are right in the middle of renting a house that the Snoqualmie Indian Tribe owns in Snoqualmie, and that will be such a nicer, more confidential, safe space for women and children. It's a 3-bedroom, so we'll be able to have up to 3 families in that space at one time. And then our benefits program. So we recently made this significant stride. We've talked for years about how unbelievably difficult it is to get people onto Social Security benefits. It is a very long process for any of you that have tried to do that. Oftentimes, I think the rate of denial the first time around and applying is over 90%. So it feels like that system is really built to keep people off of it. But we legitimately have people that are living with disabilities and they need that income coming in. So through a grant partially funded from the Veteran Seniors and Human Services Levy, we were able to hire on a new benefits advocate named Steph, who is working with our clients as they come into the front door, or the people that are in our motel program to get them the benefits that they need. And then this is a program we're building out right now, called Circle of Support. And this is a mentorship program that supports people for the first 6 months after they leave us and they transition into housing. That first 6 months can be really challenging, very exciting, but very lonely, very challenging for our clients, especially people that have been chronically unhoused, transitioning into housing where they don't have access to us all the time anymore. They can't call every time they need something, and we can kind of run and get that for them. We aren't taking them to their doctor's appointments anymore, those sort of things. They have to manage their money and their time. And so we're hoping that this mentorship program will help assist with appointments, meet at a farmer's market to just do, social connections. We're hoping to partner veterans with veterans to support them and their needs also. So we will report back on that one as we get going on it. And then some about our partnership with the city of Snoqualmie. We're so grateful for your support, and you guys are making a massive impact. So currently the funding that you guys provide for us is going to support our Front Door Community Service Center. And these are just some stats that we pulled together. This is for the first 2 quarters of this year. Just kind of, I don't need to run through this whole thing, but you can see that our impact is really large already. And every month we're starting to see more and more momentum. So we had almost 330 people come to us for some sort of navigation, whether they needed a referral out somewhere else. They came into our program itself. They needed access to law services, immigration services, whatever that is. We've had that almost 330 touches during that time. We have been seeing a lot of people that are struggling to remain housed come through our program. We are actually seeing now people that actually have mortgages, not just our renters, but people that have mortgages that are having a hard time and are coming to see us. So we're able to help them with gift cards, with helping them to get on the LIHEAP program, which is a free assistance with their energy bills. We're able to help with laundry services to reduce down those costs. They can come and get emergency food, shop for clothes, things like that. We also, on the far right, you will see at the bottom there, almost 420 people experiencing homelessness that came to us during this time, 47 people facing eviction, and then quite a few, 71 people that were needing like clothing and hygiene supplies. And if you can see on the left at the bottom, 100 survivors of gender-based violence during 2 quarters of the year. It's substantial. And then for more in-depth information, if you're interested, you can go onto our website. You can either go to the Who We Serve tab, and that will have our 2024 impact report. Or if you go to our financial overview tab, it has our 2025 case for support. So feel free, you can download the information right from that website. And you can let me know if you have any questions. And then how you can support our work, continue our funding partnership is just amazing. We serve quite a few people. I don't have numbers tonight, but quite a few people from Issaquah. It's very common for us to see your outreach workers, to see Amir and their team. They bring us a lot of people during severe weather, specifically in the wintertime more. And so that continued partnership is really needed and really appreciated. I'd love to set up a time for you guys to come into our facility if you're interested in doing that. On our volunteer tab on our website, we have lots of information about different volunteer engagement opportunities. We welcome in-kind donations of clothing, hygiene items, foods that are non-perishable, and then just policy support around, continue those affordable housing initiatives. If you guys are ever interested in talking about day center or shelter in Issaquah, I'm 110% available to you if that's a direction you guys are going in at some point. And then just making sure zoning is available, like you guys already do, to just make sure that we can continue this work. And then we have a couple of events. On Saturday, September 27th, we have our largest fundraiser of the year, our main fundraiser. And I'm happy to send this Hannah's way once we will open up registration either the end of this week or early next week. And we'd love to have you guys join us. It's at Skyview Community Center in North Bend. And then at that same location on November 15th, we're going to be holding a poverty immersion experience. So that's a place where people will come into us and they're kind of given a person to be for the next couple of hours, and they see different service providers in that room. They're awarded, kind of given certain resources as they're navigating through, and they hit barrier after barrier after barrier during that time. So it just helps to build empathy and start to understand what it is to live in deep poverty when there's not a lot of safety nets involved. And then just gratitude to you guys, to your mayor, to your council, to this commission here, to all of your staff. Some information on how to contact us. That's our main phone number. And then my email is on there too if you want to contact me directly. And then let's continue to empower our neighbors to build stability, opportunity, and connection, which is our tagline for our logo. So, and I will happily take questions from you guys.
Thank you. That was great. What is your service area?
So we serve all of Snoqualmie Valley. So from North Bend up on the pass all the way through Duval. People from Monroe every once in a while will come to us. We serve all Issaquah residents. And then we will serve anybody that comes to us, but we're contracted with Issaquah, we're contracted with Bellevue to provide services.
So you service residents from Bellevue?
We do. We don't see a ton of people come from Bellevue. It depends on that time of the year. During winter time, we don't see nearly as many people because it's harder to travel out there. But we serve quite a few people from Issaquah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I wanted to make sure you don't do actual rental assistance, right?
No, we don't do rental assistance, but we are always looking for funding sources for that. So our grant writer is always trying to keep information kind of accurate to be able to do that at some point in time. So we will put them in contact with other agencies or churches that do rental assistance.
You would like to be able to do that eventually.
Absolutely.
If you get the funding for it. Okay.
For the longest time, we had a nonprofit that worked out of a church in downtown Snoqualmie called Helping Hands. And they handled all of the rental assistance and we handled the sheltering part of all of that. And they've gone a different direction. And so there really isn't much rental assistance available in our area right now.
Yeah. And then one last question. How many staff members in your organization?
We currently have 9. We are hiring right now for a volunteer coordinator. And then we'll land at 10 for some time. I think we'll probably be at 10 for a while. Yeah. Yeah. And Trissa's our operations manager or operations director. She and I are co-founders with quite a few other people that were involved at the time. So she and I, this is kind of our baby. We've been involved, if you think about when you're, every ounce of the life that your children have lived, right? That's how we feel about this agency because we've been around since day one. Yeah.
Well, I know you do good work and it sounds like you're really growing.
Yeah, we are.
And
We're trying to
expanding
meet the needs.
services. Yeah.
Yeah. And, every day we're still turning people away. Every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And can we have a copy of her deck? And then I'll shut up.
Yeah. I'll send it over to you. Yeah.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Can we have a copy of your PowerPoint?
Sure. Yep. I'll email it to Hannah.
Yep.
Okay.
Happy to send it off to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Jennifer, great presentation. Thank you. Tell me about the meaning and the background of the name itself.
Reclaim.
Yes.
Yeah, we one of our board members did our rebrand. He's in marketing, and when we all kind of got together to talk about a name, it was funny because we met probably 6 different times. And day one, first 5 minutes out, he threw out the name Reclaim, and we were all like, I don't know. And then he threw it out again of like meeting 4 or 5, and all of us said, yes, that's the name, like we'd never heard it before. And really for us, it was more than anything, it was about helping people reclaim their lives, their existence in the world, because historically we have served very chronically homeless folks. We don't just serve chronically unhoused folks anymore. We serve anybody and everybody. But watching somebody that has lived outdoors for so long, some people, it's almost like they become feral living out there, without other people and just in this constant state of survival. And to watch what happens when they come into our program and they walk through that and they start to reclaim their life is really where that name came from. But then we also felt like it kind of, this is a logging area, and we talked about reclaimed wood and how it kind of represents our environment out here too. So.
Great. Now, you started in 2012. How's your numbers growth been?
We have grown exponentially, from the time we were just using churches before, and they were so gracious with us. We would just move kind of from location to location. And at the time when we opened that shelter, it was specifically a very low barrier, which means that we wanted to be able to serve anybody and everybody that needed those services, regardless of whether they were struggling with addiction, untreated mental health issues, as long as they were able to be safe and we were able to be safe in that space with them, we had them come indoors. We will still always serve people that are chronically homeless, but we've kind of served them all. At this point in time, after 13 years, they've received all of those services, right? And so we've expanded out and started doing the prevention side and all of that. So over the course of the 13 years, we've served for shelter alone over 1,000 people throughout our program. But now we're expanding out to serve people to just try to keep them housed in general too. So we're just growing constantly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Jen, what prompted the Circle of Support program?
Yeah, I do this, I call it Gather and Grow. And what I do every quarter is I bring together a really small group of kind of long-term supporters that aren't on our board or aren't on another committee, aren't really plugged in. And we kind of spend some time behind the scenes talking about some challenges that we have. And that was where it kind of birthed this idea for the Circle of Support, because we talked about, that first 6 months, likely more time, but we don't really have the bandwidth to kind of stay with somebody longer than 6 months right now. How scary that can be for people. And there are times that you will see people that have been let down so many times, and now this amazing thing's happening where they're getting housing, and you'll watch them almost self-sabotage it because they expect that it's going to go away, because everything always goes away, right? And so really helping to support them to make sure that that's not happening. That's kind of where that idea came from, is doing that deeper dive into ensuring that people actually stay housed once they're housed.
How's that transition going?
It's got the Circle of Support program. We have not started yet. We're still building that program out, but we have a lot of volunteers that are really interested in doing that. So we should have all of our programming and be ready to start training people. Everything should be ready within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So I think it'll be a really great program. We'll learn a lot. We'll shift. We'll start out a one way, and certain things will work and certain things won't. So we'll adjust and we'll do what we always do and kind of keep the good and replace the stuff that's not going so great.
No, it sounds
And a
very
lot
good,
of-
very exciting.
Yeah, thanks. And we'll do a lot of training around boundaries, because that mentorship, people can become kind of close in that space, and just making sure that it remains a mentorship program and not a friendship program, that kind of those professional boundaries kind of stay there.
Jen, I have a two-parter question.
Yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. The first question is, with community-based organizations like yours, given what's going on at the national level that's impacting local level
Yeah.
support. Are you struggling with that? Is it more challenging for you to keep your lights on and provide the support you do? Have you had to change your strategy because of what's going on at a national and this impacted local levels? That's question number one.
Okay. We are lucky in the fact that we do not have very much federal funding that comes to our agency. And by the time all of this kind of hit, we had some ARPA money that we had all kind of billed out already. And so we had kind of received that funding. The largest pocket of federal funding that we are a beneficiary of is that gender-based violence program with the Snoqualmie tribe. I was very concerned about that program because it's Department of Justice Office of Violence Against Women. And I don't know if you remember back in probably right in January, maybe early February, the applications for that were completely pulled. Anybody that was in the middle of applying for those funds, it was halted completely. The tribe had already been awarded that funding the year before. But I was still nervous that so what happens is we have our costs, we bill out the tribe, then the tribe bills the DOJ, then the DOJ pays, then the money gets distributed out to us and whoever else is contracted to serve. I was really concerned that we would go to pull down that money 1 month and it's all reimbursable only. So we were already spend that money and that money would not be available. I don't feel that way anymore because we've met with the tribe and I did not know this, but there are congressional holdouts for tribal organizations that I was not aware of as a white person. And that is a law. And so the money for the DOJ money is very secure if it sits in a contract with a tribe. And they feel like not only will that continue on, but we actually may be able to receive more money for that program as long as it runs through the tribe first.
Okay.
So, but we do have contingency plans. We built all of that out in January and February. We have policies now around what staff does if ICE comes to our building. We have an intercom entry system into our building now. So you have to actually push a button and be let into our building. We had already planned to do that for security, but we bumped that up when we were concerned about ICE coming to our building. So we will work with them if there's a judicial warrant, of course, but
That sounds.
what other questions you got? Did that answer your question?
It did in detail.
Okay.
So question number two is, it sounds like federal funding is pretty safe, but there's also local Medicaid dollars that are being impacted by changes that's slowly trickling down to local communities like ours.
Yep.
I don't know what that looks like in the coming year or coming years. But do you ever, here, I'll give you a scenario. Somebody walks in, was brought to the ER at Swedish Issaquah by the Issaquah Police Department. And when they took this individual, they said that we're looking for, what do we do with this individual after they've been sitting here for a while? Have there ever been referrals to you, not only by the hospital, but other healthcare providers who might receive funding through Medicare or Medicaid that have entered your doors because of a referral that came through that route?
Many times. Many times we actually have a special questionnaire that we use for hospital staff or outreach staff from different cities that are calling us. The crisis clinic will call us sometimes. So we do receive many calls from Snoqualmie Valley Hospital out here because they're trying to exit somebody and they literally have nowhere to go and they don't want to just put them out on the street. So that's very common. We are concerned. We don't know what it will look like yet. We're really talking about really trying to beef up our volunteer program in case we need to depend on volunteers more and more as 2026 hits and 2027, when all of that starts trickling down, right? And I think that's when we're really going to see that. I just learned recently that part of that bill basically cut funding for McKinney-Vento, which is an act that protects, it's in schools. Basically, they have counselors that are McKinney-Vento counselors, and it protects children that are experiencing homelessness. And so it makes sure that there's transportation to get into and from school, that they have all the school supplies that they need, that they have the support that they need, the food, all of the things that they need to be able to learn. And so from my standpoint, that's just, it's heartbreaking, because how in the world do we stop perpetuating chronic and generational homelessness without education? You know, without educating our kids and giving them an opportunity to escape that poverty. If that's not available, it will just continue on, and then they will have children into that poverty system, right? So, yeah.
Questions for Hannah?
Maybe we should run for the federal secretary job.
There you go.
Got my vote.
Yeah.
Are you talking about me?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. I'm a Snoqualmie resident. Sorry.
Jennifer, do you have a behavioral health specialist on staff?
No, we do not. And I'm sure that you guys are well aware that our police department has gone through a lot of changes out here in Snoqualmie as of recently. And we lost our behavioral health specialist that was contracted with the city of Snoqualmie. She had gone on maternity leave, but then she didn't return. And that was really unfortunate because we needed her. She worked with all of the first responders, and she had gotten to know kind of those frequent flyers that are needing those emergency services, right, around mental health. And that was really unfortunate. So no, we do not have anybody out here, and it is desperately needed.
Okay, and you guys, I'm really bad with the boundaries. You're not covered by Eastside Fire and Rescue, right? You have your,
No, we have our own fire department here, Snoqualmie.
Okay.
Although if it's outside of, so one of the motels that we use in North Bend, it's east enough to where it doesn't fall. It is Eastside Fire. So our facility itself is Snoqualmie.
thanks.
Great questions, Commissioner. Well, I'll wrap us up by just saying thank you, Jen. I mean, Reclaim has been such a pivotal piece for our services. We really relied on this partnership, as you mentioned a few times, but I just want to share my gratitude for your staff. Like you said, those numbers are quite incredible, very profound, and just shows the dedication. I mean, I look at the numbers that you provided and knowing that you're only a staff of 9 currently, I mean, it's very impressive. So thank you for the hard work, boots on the ground, and making this community better and improving lives. It really makes a difference. So we really love working with you all. So thank you.
Well,
Thank
ditto,
you.
right
Thank
back at you. Yeah, thank you so much for your partnership, and we love working with Hannah. You're awesome.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. All right, Jen,
All
well,
right.
we'll go ahead and wrap up. You are welcome. We have just some boring human
Yep,
services
I'll
stuff to
take
go
off.
through, so you're welcome to pop off, but we appreciate your time this evening.
Yeah, of course. I hope Axton's feeling better. I was
Thank you.
sorry to hear that he wasn't feeling well. So, and I'll get the deck over to you guys so that you have that for your records. So let me know
Thank you.
if you guys have any questions. Take care.
All right, we'll be in touch. Thanks, Jen. Very impressive growth that they've had and numbers, so.
No kidding.
Yeah, glad we were able to learn a lot more. And I remember visiting them when they had this beautiful house, like an old Snoqualmie house, where they really did a beautiful job transforming it into just these very suitable, I mean, for a shelter, very suitable private cubbies where people had a bed and dresser and closet, where they had chores, they had a big communal kitchen. And it was just a very homely feeling, and people didn't want to leave there. They just loved staying in that shelter and felt safe. And so that was before their purchase. So it's great to see kind of their new and improved location.
Well, I know the lease ran out.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad to hear, it sounds like things are bigger and better now. Cause I
Yeah.
thought when that lease ran out, But I think it ran out during COVID or something, but things were kind of falling apart.
Yeah,
And it sounds like they've really picked themselves up.
yeah, and I think the biggest thing is we really utilized, and originally, during COVID, we utilized our services as a shelter. We saw a reclaiming program back then, so-called Valley Shelter Services. It was truly just shelter services.
Yeah.
We referred many of our unhoused Issaquah residents to shelter there for long or short periods of time. And when they lost the lease, it was really like, okay, what does Reclaim do if you're not sheltered anymore? And so the rebrand and the building and like the services that they provide are just as important as sheltering. And they do shelter, it's just in a kind of more unique way.
And the motel vouchers, yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, we've learned our unhoused population would much rather have a private room with a shower right there. And so it gives them better living quarters as an option, so. Yeah, very impressive, so I'm glad we were able to learn more about them.
Yeah, that was great.
And if anybody gets a chance to go out there, it'd be worth saying hi, so I'd love to see y'all. All right, well, that concludes that.
It's a tough transition from this great work onto going back to the election of the chair and the vice chair.
It won't be this long. All right, otherwise you guys you're not gonna open your mouths. Okay, are you guys willing to stay on in leadership roles?
What does that mean? For how long? What are we talking?
A year, every year we do a vote.
I mean, date wise.
May to April. So started this technically was, we were going to do this in May and then we were gonna do it in June.
Okay,
So now we're-
that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah, so it's not like the
So you
year.
get credit for time served.
Yeah.
Again?
So chair and vice chair term typically goes from May to April. So when the new commissioners come on in May, we usually end up voting either in May or June. We just got a little bit delayed.
And I know you've said you're not interested.
I'm not.
Okay, and I'm not gonna point to you guys because you guys are new. I figure you want at least a year. Yeah, yeah,
Well, so who's not here that we could nominate?
that's true.
That's how Manny got nominated. Last
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm willing to stay as vice chair. Yes.
Okay, what about chair? No? Okay, well, that was easy.
No, I'm just,
That's okay. You don't have to explain anything. Are you willing to stay on as chair?
I think for one more year. I attended the training yesterday with Mayor Polly and, you know, it's definitely a huge responsibility and we have a few new members and want to make sure that we can kind of keep growing our folks. So I am interested for one more year. And I think what I heard was, I noted it down, May to April.
yes.
Okay, I think we had a slate.
What
about Yes.
you, Trish?
And what about you?
Been there,
Trish?
done that.
I've already done it.
Okay.
I've already done it. I think we have a slate.
Well, I'm gonna follow the script that I got here from Hannah here.
You have to do proper
Alright,
voting, thank you, because it's an action item.
So let me go, the following process will be used. First, I will call for nominations.
So I nominate Manny as vice chair and Jaime as chair. Or do I have to say I move that we nominate and someone has to second it or?
I think it would be, is there unanimous consent from the group of vice chair with Manny and myself as chair? Thumbs up?
We'll go double for you. We got you.
I don't.
So I think from what I understand and keeping to make sure I follow the script, it would be, we would do the chair first and the vice chair. And then what I'm hearing is there's unanimous with the vice chair of Manny Brown being the vice chair. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead with the chair as a unanimous consent with myself being the chair with. All right, well, first of all, say congratulations to the group. I want to make sure I'm clean on this stuff.
What's he reading?
Good. Script
The
time.
script I was given, but I want to make sure because it is something, it is a responsibility. You know, I want to make sure it is, I'll give you an example of, you know, doing the interviews with Manny, myself and Hannah, making sure we're, you know, leading with our mission, vision, values. It's something that we do take in heart. Specifically, we just had a speaker come from the housing situation, is that when we go into the grant circumstances, those are the decisions that, you know, you're all selected for a reason. And it's to make the best for our residents of Issaquah. So it is a responsibility. So it makes sense.
I'm not.
No, I get you.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
No. I appreciate that, Trish. You actually really mentored me. But I want to make sure that we have unanimous consent and we can kind of move forward that way. And we'll revisit this again next year.
Next year, we'll see how we feel.
Okay.
And just sorry I wasn't able to join for the presentation you gave. Was that the one with Mayor Polly?
What are you talking about?
Well, that was city clerk.
Oh, that was Tisha.
Tisha.
Tisha. I know, this, yeah.
I know. We're confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get confused on the names too sometimes. I understand. Yeah, it happens to all of us, but yes. Great.
All right, so what I'm hearing, then Vice Chair have been with unanimous consent and May to April 2026, right?
Yeah, and Manny and Jaime, I just want to say I've really enjoyed this last year working with you both and the time and commitment that you have made for this commission and for me personally and for human services in our community. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to another year of you both in this role and yay, enjoying kind of the next year of our work. So thank you both.
9 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you all from the group. We're gonna go forward to reports. I have chair and commissioner reports. I would just check with other commissioners, see if they have reports they want to kind of bring to the table.
I actually do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I visited with Alicia Spinner.
Okay.
She's the executive director at the Circle. It was a couple weeks ago. We met for about, I want to say an hour and a half. And I just thought you all might be interested. You all know the Circle.
Yeah, they did a presentation
I'm
recently.
thinking of the new people, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she was very focused on telling me about the situation with the people that are being detained and that population. And she said that they currently have 9 people from Issaquah that were taken by ICE down to the detention center in Tacoma. And she makes it a point to go down there once a week. Am I repeating? You probably already.
No, please, no, this is
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
I want more information.
Okay, she goes down there, she said once a week, and she also, I guess, you can go online with the detention center and there's these budgets you can set up for the detainees. And her organization puts $100 a week into each detainee's budget. And she said, and I had said to her, well, when you visit them, do you like take them down goodies and stuff like that? She said, no, you're not allowed to. She said, it's a profit-making organization, the detention center is. They have a commissary. And everybody that's detained has to buy everything from the commissary. So, yeah, she can't even take food down there, right? You know, something really basic and simple like that. So she puts $100 a week in, so that's $900. And of course, when she did her budgeting for, this fiscal year, that wasn't in her budget. As many other things weren't in her budget. But yeah, she's really consumed with trying to help that population. And of course, none of them are criminals. They're just people that were grabbed.
Yeah.
And what else did she say? Oh, I did ask her about the backgrounds, and she said they're all native Spanish speaking. And there used to be 10, and one had just been deported, and he was deported back to his, luckily he went to his home country, Honduras. I mean, eventually he got off the plane in his home country of Honduras. But she said that once he got to Honduras, he called her because they had no idea where he was, because ICE put him on, one of those big cargo ships, and didn't, and this is, I'm getting this all third or fourth hand, but this is what he's telling Alicia. ICE didn't tell anybody where they were going, and they went from Seattle to Denver to, I guess, to pick up other Hondurans. And then I think they went down to New Orleans, and then they went to Guantanamo.
Oh, my God.
And I asked her, I said, well, how long did he have to stay there? And she wasn't quite sure. But she said then they eventually, I don't know how long he was in transit, but apparently they were all clueless. They didn't know what was happening. And I guess fear is part of the whole thing. And he was able to be, his mom is in Honduras, and he's 22 years old. So he's back in Honduras. And that was that's the first Issaquah resident that actually was deported.
And the others are still in the detention.
There's 9, yeah.
So where did they get picked up from? From,
Just down the street.
oh, they weren't at the center at the.
Oh, they weren't at ICE. I mean, they weren't at the circle, excuse me.
Okay,
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. And she said that they haven't had any ICE raids at the circle. But they do have some emergency protocols that they set up. I asked her if she's getting any ugly phone calls. She said she's not getting ugly phone calls herself. She's not getting any ugly phone calls from ICE, but she said she is getting ugly phone calls from community members.
Really?
She's getting good phone calls too, but she said that she's getting unpleasant phone calls from community members. Yeah.
Just trying to
Were they
remember what they
like
said.
against it, or
Yeah,
like her work, or?
yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Just this, maybe they're all Trumpsters. I don't know.
Yeah, and you'll notice the circle has removed their online presence, so they don't do their social media anymore. They don't communicate with their website updates out of safety concerns or protection. So they use different forms of communicating, but they've had to really shift and transition their services to focus on. I mean, this work the need has increased, but it was hardest for the circle and organizations that work with immigrants and refugees it's just the heaviness of this work and the capacity it takes from staff.
Sure.
This is hard.
I mean, she was crying when she was talking to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to make any sense to me because the administration's talking about saving money, but this seems to be, it's not cost effective.
Mhm. Yeah. As a city, we're very fortunate that we have the circle in Issaquah who has the expertise and the connections with our community members that made me feel safe with the circle, that they can be a good representation for Issaquah and for those community members who need that support. I'm very thankful for that we have an organization, I think they started in 2021 as a grassroots organization. So the fact that they are very new and they're doing this level of work with very little staff is very, very impressive. But yeah, the weight is on them. And as a city, our job is really to advocate, support them, uplift them, do what we can. Thank you for meeting with her, by the way. I think.
Yeah, we just happened to set up coffee together.
Yeah.
It adds a personal narrative to what's going on at this crazy national level to be able to see people
Yeah.
been impacted by this. It's really
To
be able to continue the story and just share it with people because people are curious, like, what does that have to do with us?
Right.
And there's a story right there that helps share.
Yeah.
And this is a big piece of why a lot of community members are not leaving their house, or they are had to quit their second job, or they don't go to the food bank anymore because they've had incidences there, or just are concerned.
And school's out now, but while school was in session, some of the families weren't sending their kids to school. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been very disruptive for our community, and living in fear is tough.
Has food bank been raided?
They haven't been raided. They did have community members pass, say threatening things as they were passing by to a family member. I know. I mean, it's really hard to believe that Issaquah can be, a lot of our circles are a very inclusive circle. A lot of people, it's a very open, welcoming community here. And I hope that we can be that representation as a commission, for our community and spread that. But unfortunately, I don't live in a perfect world, and
There was I just remembered there was one other thing, and I won't take too much longer. There is a couple that is working on asylum, and it's a process where you have to go to the immigration court. Well, ICE now is hanging out down at King County Superior Court at the hall where the immigration, hearings are held. And she went down there with one couple because they were scared to go down. And, ICE was there, and they ended up getting detained. And they're now at the detention center.
and that was illegal. They had the paperwork from the judge that they were clear to go. They had 10 days.
Oh, you knew about.
Yeah, and the lawyer was there, Alicia was there. They had representation.
It's not enough.
They had the paper,
It's terrible.
and I ignored, in that incident, ignored the paperwork. And I mean, what she told me was like, it's just they looked at us as if we weren't human, like we were cattle. We were just treated as the enemy.
And just like on the TV, they're all like this, like banditos, Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's a very sad situation.
Mhm. It is very sad. And as a city, we're really trying to prepare staff and figuring out what do we do, right? We don't know the answers either. And so we've been talking to our city attorney, our city leadership to figure out how do we support our community members. Unfortunately, like the circle and our other partners, we can't promise safety. That's not, unfortunately, our role there. But we are trying to figure out how do we, especially as a public and government agency, for us, how do we best support our community members?
Okay, what's the role? How much? Yeah. How can you intervene, support?
Yeah, and so really our role right now is just supporting places like the circle, safe places that our community members can continue to go to, and just kind of gather information and figure out, more what's going on here in Issaquah, but also regionally, because I think regional impacts, we'll see that here as well. It's a big topic for human services. I'm glad you brought it up, because it is something that's important for us to kind of just keep an eye on and realize, human services is all about serving our vulnerable population.
Right.
And that can look, that spectrum is huge, from people with disabilities to seniors to children to unhoused individuals or low income, and immigrants and refugees are very much on that list. And right now they are one of the most vulnerable populations. So it's an important topic for us to continue to figure out how do we as a commission just realize that our community members are struggling, and our nonprofits who are serving this are also struggling. And this is we really, as human services, especially with our funding decisions, really align with our strategic plan. However, this is a very unexpected change. It's a 5-year strategic plan. We're in year 3 of it. So something that maybe we can do in preparation of funding and priorities for our next cycle is really we'll do a check-in with our community members of like, what's our new priorities? Is it still the behavioral health and community resources and language access, or is there a stronger priority that we need to focus on in our funding decisions? So it's good for us then, therefore, to include what's going on in our community and what is our needs, to help drive these funding decisions that you are all in charge of. So.
Can I a question and follow up to that?
Yeah.
Because Jay and I haven't been educated on that process. So that's
Yeah.
a 4-year cycle. But how do you determine which of these organizations get a percentage of whatever money that's allocated to you? That's like I read the thought.
Oh, yeah. It is daunting. So for example, last cycle, there was a $2.1 million in request, and we only had just over $650,000 to provide. So you can see, do the math and realize there's a lot of notes.
It's a 2-year cycle.
And it's a 2-year cycle. And so, and the applications will open in March and close in April, and reviewing those applications will begin in May. So between now, well, yeah, we'll really gear up in 2026. Between January and April, we'll do a lot of information sharing of preparation. So you are not just going into this, here's an application, go make a decision. You will get a lot of training in how do you review applications with an equity lens? How do you pull out your biases that we all have? How do you
We have a strategic plan that helps inform decisions.
perfectly
We
said.
break into subgroups, so you're not reviewing, not every person's not reviewing every grant application.
Mhm.
So that, I think, and Hannah has a really great,
Yeah, 96 of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
she has a great, I'm trying to
It's
think.
a toolkit that
A
we
toolkit,
use,
yeah.
kind of tool sheet that will help us kind of say, okay, great organization, but not right for Issaquah based off of how much money we have, or yes, we definitely need to fund them, and then let's maybe think about it. So we'll go on all those details when it gets closer, but we still have some time. This is the year you're coming in where we're just really getting to learn more about our community needs and our community-based organizations.
And
You're
that
gonna-
was at the, root, Commissioner Ray, was when we were finding our local agencies, was like, how do we get to know more? And so that's how we're having more presentations from folks from the community.
Which has been awesome. I'm
Mhm.
totally-
And we all decided on that to say, hey, we're making a decision and we also want to get to know more.
Mhm.
So when it comes to those funding decisions, we have more than just what we're seeing in paper.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you really learn so much more when Jen comes and talks about
Visits.
reclaiming and you get a face.
Face
Number, yeah.
questions and
Yeah. Exactly.
any other, thank you so much for visiting Bolstering.
That's it.
Any other updates from the commissioners? Let me circle here. Commissioner Manley, Commissioner Ray, Commissioner JD. Any reports from you all? Vice Chair.
no, thank you.
See you in May. Youth report,
So Preston's on summer vacation, so he's not in attendance, and we also don't have a written youth report from him, so.
Okay.
Nothing to
Then we
report
have-
on.
then we have staff report with you, Hannah.
Yes, okay, so I'll go through some stuff quickly here. So staff report is really a time for me to share information if anything is going on, human services related to our council. I'll provide updates on that. It's been a little while since we've been to council. And then I also provide some human services, just updates, like about events or upcoming, information with our nonprofits. So one thing I want to report on is let me see if I can share my screen real quick. So we did in end of May, we did a first time ever, community closet. Not sharing. Oh, there it goes. So this is just like our impact report that our staff from Pickering Barn completed. Just kind of a cute little visual. About, sad to say, 2 years ago, we started a clothing forum with organizations like the Food Bank, the Garage, the Circle, some PTSA, the school district, PTSA volunteers. And from that, we really identified, wow, there's just such a gap in our community for free clothing without the stigma of a clothing bank. We recognize the barriers of having a clothing bank, of like the staff time, the donation, base. And so we really came together as, okay, how do we fill in this gap? We all have this need, we all want to work towards it, and we all do it in little capacities, but how do we do it in a bigger scale for Issaquah? And we had some amazing volunteers from community, well, there are PTSA individuals who work with the food bank, they volunteer at the food bank, they're very involved in our community, and they decided to do kind of a clothing swap, with the concept of okay, we collect clothes one day, we organize it, and we kind of put it out for like, this is free for everyone, with the idea of sustainability, the idea of it's open for everybody. It's kind of a fun community building kind of gathering. And really the hope was to meet the needs of our community members who really could use some free clothing. But again, it's take away that stigma and make it fun. And so we tried it out, and it was a little bit of a guinea pig, and it was very fun and very successful at the Pickering Barn. We had over 500 visitors,
It's amazing.
and that's in like a 4-hour span.
That's crazy.
We had 85 lined up. We had to shut the doors. We're like, whoa, we were not expecting that, but hey, free clothing, I guess you're gonna get people coming. It was a small but mighty crew of 22 volunteers, over 150 hours. We received over 250 bags. It was a very hard thing to measure because some bags were like garbage bag size bags. Some were just, grocery size. But lots of great donations. And out of the 250 bags, I think there was only 25 bags that we were very picky about what went through. And so anything that had a stain or just seems a little ragged, we just threw it to the side for donations to Recology. So Recology is a partner of the city of Issaquah that will take textiles. And what they do with those textiles is they turn it into insulation for houses. So we had just under 400 pounds of textiles from 25 bags that we were able to donate. So it was just a very rewarding event. And I kind of just bring this up. This is kind of an impromptu. Community members came to us and said, hey, we're interested in this. Can we use your space? And we supported them through Human Services.
Because the Issaquah Food Bank is not going to do clothing anymore, correct?
They unfortunately do not have the space.
You don't have the space. So was this successful enough that you see it becoming an annual thing?
I'm happy to report that Community Closet is now a 501(c)(3).
Oh, wow.
Volunteers in our community. It did not take them long, and I'm very proud of them. So they will be coming. I've encouraged them to come say hi to everybody, introduce as it gets closer to funding cycle, for them to introduce their new concept and their programming. And so they're still working on kind of the bigger concept, but we are looking to have another event in October. So
that's awesome.
which is great that we got city support for that.
For winter.
Yeah, it'll be kind of the winter. It'll be right before Halloween, so they'll probably have some Halloween costumes. And it is clothing and shoes, all sizes and ages. So we have a youth section, a kids section, an adult section. And trends I saw, a lot of women clothing donations, which is great. But the main need was men's clothing. That went by so fast, and so many men came for free clothing, and we did not have the need for what was wanted. But some people took like one or two things. Some people took like totes of bags. We didn't, we were like, please take it. We don't want leftovers. So
You have much left over?
they had a little bit of leftover that is going to the school does a back to school clothing drive as a part of their it's a resource fair for many things, and so they'll have a clothing drive there. So the same staff that worked with us there is also staffed for this. So she'll use it for that. And then some of it went to the circle and the garage. So we've got a great network. So we're just always rotating clothes. So we're really hoping to fill this, clothing gap in Issaquah through kind of this potential clothing closet and have it be maybe biannual, quarterly, monthly. We'll see where they end up going with it.
Are other East Side cities doing anything about, the need for clothing is so, I was fascinated to see that, oh my gosh, the gal that just gave her presentation, thank you. That they're doing a clothing opportunity in Snoqualmie, and there's just a huge need.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like Bellevue, Kirkland, Redmond, is anyone else doing anything?
Nothing like this.
Okay.
This is just something new. And if you see kind of more for-profits kind of working, or people doing a swap for purchase or a swap.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different of the heart and vision for it is a little bit different, but I have not heard of any cities doing anything like this. This is a very Issaquah and unique, innovative kind of approach. So
Super
Very,
interesting.
very proud of this group and very just their response and actions to this and some incredible volunteers for this. So we'll see where this goes and we'll have an opportunity to learn more about their organization coming up.
The volunteers local?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they work at, or they, yeah, part-time work at Issaquah School District, and then they volunteer at the Issaquah Food and Clothing Bank. So.
And I'm sorry, so the next one is October 2021?
Oh, yes, it's the date, we don't have the date yet. Oh, October 20th through the 21st is the tentative date. You'll hear all the promotions when it comes up, but got that approved and we'll move forward with that planning. And then moving forward with a few upcoming events to look forward to, and hopefully you all can join and participate, is our big Issaquah Culture Fest. That's a very fun one. It'll be out here on the community center lawn on September 5th. That is where we'll have a resource fair with our nonprofits, organizations, and Issaquah kind of local community groups with the intention of, hey, get connected with Issaquah, get involved and hear resources in case you're interested. So a good variety of nonprofits. We'll have free henna. There's going to be I'm really excited. We're actually, we have an art commissioner coming in to help us with a community art project. So basically, you can come in, do a little art piece, and she's creating this big community collage. So I'm really excited about that. Cougar Zoo, we'll have a couple of animals.
Wow.
Yeah, not a cougar or anything, nothing big. like a lizard or a bird or something.
What was it out? Wasn't it kangaroos or something that got loose and, or zebras? Zebras. Yes.
But really excited to have some wonderful performances, Bulgarian dance. We have a local violinist who's Turkmenistan, so very excited about that. Some Bali, Indian interactive dancing, Japanese drums. We'll have lots of food trucks for purchase. So this one is one of our big events, and I really do want to call out this event is it's a global campaign for immigrants and refugees, and what a time to be able to honor and serve and celebrate our immigrants and refugees. So we are really being cautious and resilient is our word.
Yeah, there was a culture fest for a specific, not an all-encompassing thing like the city's doing, but it was in Seattle that they ended up canceling.
Yes. So you will start seeing a lot of cultural specific or international type of events are being canceled. People are not feeling safe to attend. I wouldn't be surprised if our numbers are lower this year because of that reason.
Because of that, okay.
However, in conversations with our immigrant organizations that serve our immigrants and refugees, not just in Issaquah, but in our region, what we continue to hear is that that we are being asked to do these events.
Okay.
That it communicates that we are welcoming, that we should not be living in fear. And the biggest thing is people feel so isolated right now.
Yeah.
We learned through COVID how tragic that can be. And so we are trying to fight that isolation. And this is just a way that we can do that. So we are very honored to be able to celebrate our diversity.
And one of the big sponsors is the library, the King County Library System.
Yep, we partner with them. They're part of our planning group.
Yeah.
Downtown Association, Issaquah, DIA, Downtown Issaquah Associations, Issaquah Highlands. We have Board Culture providing funding for that. So it's our big one. So please plan to come if you can.
And we will be meeting, our September meeting will be after that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So that's hopefully that's my next time I'll probably see you.
Because August we take a
recess.
Right. So, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I'll remind you, you'll hear from a few emails from me between now and then.
September 17th.
And then Hispanic Heritage Month, I don't have details yet, but as of now, and I'm certainly there's things could change, but the Circle is hosting Hispanic Heritage Month at Pickering Barn again. So I don't have details yet. Last year it was like a family dance, super fun. So hopefully we'll have more details to come on that. So then the last thing is I just need to ask a question to you all. In regards to, it feels like far away, but we, in preparation for, like I mentioned, our grant review process, we do equity training. I think it's a really important piece to really center us and prepare us for reviewing these applications. We have done it every year. We have done it typically jointly with our East Side Human Services Commission. And so last time we did some feedback, and the follow-up that I recall was basically that there was value to that. You did like doing it jointly. However, the improvement would be to just have a kind of a follow-up, kind of to dedicated time to questions of following up with kind of an Issaquah Commission specific conversation about the equity training. And so my question is, do we want to do, again, a joint equity training with our East Side commissions? Do we want to do something separately? Yes.
One thing I remember from the joint one is that it was not a very great experience unless you could attend in person. I was able to attend in person, but I think Mari, maybe,
Yeah.
there was more than one person
Yeah,
and
I
it
was
was,
virtual, yeah.
it wasn't set up very well
Yeah.
for you to be part of the conversation. So that's the only,
Yeah, great feedback, and something we are definitely know that we'll have to change that for this year.
How did you feel being there in person? I mean, was it valuable?
in general, I find those types of conversations and trainings very valuable. Like you always learn something new would be my perspective. But I just know that turned out to be a pretty large group there. It wasn't a great experience for people that were trying to participate online. So that's just, I'd be curious to hear options for a different.
Yeah, it's a great point. So if we move forward with this, I would be part of the planning committee, and what I would advocate for is that the training gets set up for some, like, maybe a little bit of homework prior, and then like a training, like a educational training that can be an online view. We've done it before, or in person. But that it's set up for follow-up questions. So it does a training, does some like interacting with the other commissions at that time. And then it says, okay, here is your follow-up questions and discussions for your own commissions for next meeting.
Okay.
Is how I would want to see it. And where I would see most value.
I'd love to see a homework type of thing
Mhm.
beforehand so that you know where you stand as far as visualizing your biases and things of that sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea too. Make it a little bit more thought provoking.
Actually, maybe it was because it was my first, but was during COVID. And so it was online, and it was with all the neighbor commissions. And we had a really good facilitator, and then we had breakout rooms on Zoom. And I liked it, and it could be because I really liked her. Do you remember who it was?
I don't remember the name, but I know who you're talking about. I was there and I loved that one as well.
Yeah, I think I attended the online one, I attended the joint one. And I think one of the things I noticed is it improving like on those intimate discussions where when we do split up in groups. I think the one we had last year, I think it was like a hurry up. It didn't feel as, you know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like it's an important topic, and then it got really like rushed. And I think that was like I think people felt like they got in a way like cheated in a way because it was just so quick.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about the people facilitating the one last year. The one that I was zooming in on.
Yeah, that's great feedback as we plan. I will say the benefit of jointly doing it is fiscal benefit. That we can afford more and usually.
So you're saying is that having the same format, but then having like a debrief, like afterwards, or like having a discussion within our groups, like what do we take away or what do we learn? How does that apply to what we're doing right now? Okay.
To really focus on that like intimate discussion. And to me, I think it's great to hear other commissioners. I think you can learn from different city commissioners, but what I think is more valuable is this discussion at this table, and how do we, like, this is this is a safe place? How do we talk about,
I remember being super surprised last year finding out, I've always thought it was super helpful that we have a strategic plan and we know our values and we have and not every commission has that, which I think, I don't know, just, yeah, it made some of those conversations more challenging, like, well, we have a framework for making these decisions that I think is really important to have. And so it's just, yeah, I get the fiscal responsibility part of it though too, because
yeah,
with collaboration, you can maximize your resources probably.
yeah.
And just to mention the strategic plan, if the newbies haven't read that, it's a good thing to.
It's good to be familiar with it.
Yeah, and
to
I
read
will,
so bad.
yeah, I will set you up for success, because it's a long document, but we'll point you in the right directions and get you familiar with it by the time we review applications.
I actually, I would love to hear from both of y'all of something either like intimate of either having it within ourselves or having to join other commissioners from other cities. What would be maybe some thoughts from both of y'all?
Did you have good dialogue with the other participants, or was it more hearing and not
To
participating?
me, zooming in, it looked chaotic,
Yeah, there's some of that, I think.
but that was just last year's. We've had other ones, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be, I'd love to hear from both of you. So it sounds like, would you be in favor of doing like a joint or having more of an intimate?
Intimate for me.
For you? Okay. And you just came from the equity board. That's why I was kind of inquiring with you, Commissioner Ray. What about you, Commissioner JD?
I think it's interesting because obviously like we're all in our own commissions based on things that are of interest to us. So it's always interesting to hear like someone else's point of view where I think like, yes, it's a safe space and people may have some differences, but we at least align on the same, like we all care about people and helping people. And sometimes there are areas that like someone else can, like we all have blind spots. And so I think sometimes like when you have people from other interests, like areas of interest, but still within, like, we're all committed to the city. It could help inform some of those blind
Yeah.
spots. But it does sound like there's been some kind of like facilitating challenges with
Yeah.
like a big group. And I mean, that's something to consider. Like sometimes a group too big is not, it just takes away from an activity or training. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, good food for thought. Let me just gather some more information. Unfortunately, I might have to make a decision prior to our next meeting because they want to move forward. Basically, right now, other cities that I partner with very closely with are saying who's interested,
Okay.
so they can kind of determine what their budget is and then start vetting different organizations
To facilitate.
to facilitate. Yeah, so we contract out the equity training.
Was the one you guys had on Zoom just smaller group or was it with everyone? Not this last one, but the one that you mentioned during COVID?
We had one woman facilitator. She was very good. And, you know, all of the commissioners around here zoomed in, and then we had breakout sessions in Zoom. I really liked that whole experience.
Yeah, and I think especially for Issaquah, it's harder to get to certain locations. Like Redmond, you know, we're just a little bit tucked away, so sometimes transporting.
Just real quick, just because when we say joint commissioners, it's Bellevue,
Redmond, Kirkland.
Amish.
Would be their human services commission or all the parts?
No. Just their human services
Okay.
commission from Bellevue, and last year actually Bellevue didn't participate, they did their own thing. But
Redmond.
Kirkland, Redmond, Sammamish.
See, I don't mind doing this on Zoom.
Yeah, there's something, very convenient about that, and there's something nice about being in person as well, right? And so,
It's also an advantage for the presenter too.
Say that again?
Yeah.
There's an advantage for the presenter that if you're on Zoom, they can get everything else set up and.
Yeah,
But they didn't do a great job with their Zoom interface last year.
right. No, what I mean is having the entire thing
Yeah,
on Zoom. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It makes it a little more accessible. removing some of the barriers.
And you can do breakout rooms, you know, on
Mhm.
Zoom and all that.
Yeah, regardless what we do, we will have kind of a follow-up debrief.
Yeah.
With intentionality of let's really dive into this and give ourselves a lot of space to talk about it. So, we have it in our budget, to contract for, this training.
A shared facilitator.
Yeah, I don't know if our budget could afford necessarily a facilitator
Right.
on our own. So what I'm hearing is that online would be helpful with like, some homework potentially, or some like kind of pre-work
I
done.
like that idea.
I like the idea of like, kind of like, here's your pre-work and preparation, come to this meeting. And the facilitator is giving some just education and like, let's learn. So let's understand our biases or understand, where we're coming from on the equity spectrum. And then let's, learn from a expert matter person and learn, and that will set us up nicely for reviewing an application with an equity lens. And then let's get some questions from them that can really help facilitate a dialogue between us. So that's what I'll advocate for in our regional partners. And if we can't get that, then I will excuse Issaquah from the joint commission or equity training, and we will determine what our own options are. But if they're on board for kind of that type of format, then maybe we can do that jointly, since we can get a little bit of, you have individual time to reflect, you have a larger group to be a part of, and then we'll have an intimate conversation in this circle.
You can also email us too, and we'll respond. I mean, because
Oh, sure. That's right, the internet. I could totally email you.
I mean, I said, yeah,
I'm not gonna see you forever.
but I mean, if we have to make it, if something
That's
comes
true.
up.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
I think Tricia said she had a special stuff.
I do like it. I get it. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you all for your input. I really do appreciate that.
And I'm just guessing, in your guys' line of work or other nonprofits you've worked for, or commissions, that you guys have had some kind of equity training. Yeah, so this is, yeah.
Yeah, I think we are, equity is a very important, it's a very embedded into this commission. It's
My
very,
wife had to do
yeah, well, maybe we'll call your wife. Yeah. That's great.
All right, well, more to come on this one, from the group. Any other business or announcements from the group here? All right, well, as Hannah mentioned, our Human Service Commission will recess in August, and our next meeting will be scheduled for September 17th. And meeting is adjourned at 8:06. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Done.